Thank you, Madam Chair. Y'all have already touched on some of this, but with advanced warning, Mr. Murtaugh, with advanced warning, what can we do on Earth to prevent a major catastrophe, such as an electric power outage? You can't really tell in advance. What can we do to harden our systems down here? And we've been talking about this for years, and I'm not sure we've yet taken it seriously from a national security standpoint. Can you address that?
Yeah, I think the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission stepped in some years ago to essentially to advise the industry that this was a real threat, and then direct standards. So the power industry, there's essentially two pieces to it here. One is the engineering solution. So they are exploring opportunities to harden the various components of the grid. So there's a lot of work underway right now trying to do just that. The second piece is the operational response. And that is essentially that we get the alerts and warnings out to them, and they understand what to do with the information. So again, that's really an awful lot of work just in the past several months and years to address that threat. So we're coming at it kind of a two-pronged approach, the engineering solution and the operations response. But I think because government and FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, did step in and mandate these activities, things are happening.
That's good. Very glad to hear that. And Dr. Fox, are astronomy and heliophysics the same thing? And if not, what are the differences, and which discipline should lead to space weather activities as it pertains to research and operations?
So the sun is a star, as we all like to say, and so there's a lot of overlap between astronomy and heliophysics. But heliophysics is really focused on the study of our star, our sun, and its impact on Earth, both high up and very close down to us. All the technology that we really rely on is sort of lives in the heliophysics neighborhood. But it's extremely important as we move to look for exoplanets and habitability in around other stars. Heliophysics and astro are very linked there, because what you can learn about our star in our backyard is then applicable to other astrophysics systems. But heliophysics really has the science, it's the science research arm of the National Space Weather Program.
Thank you very much. Fascinating. And Admiral Lautenbacher, how important is space weather? Just a general question, but how important is space weather to our national security?
It's a lot more important than most people think, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important. The problems we would have with an attack, a natural attack, if you want to call it that, with our power grids and our electronics that run the world today would just stall things where they are. We need to have a lot more people in all sectors understand what that means, because we're talking about a whole society. We're not talking necessarily about one store or one power plant. We're talking about months to try to get power plants back online, and all of the things that we use to control our manufacturing, our food production, all of the relationships we have between companies and governments, and the basic items that are needed for life are absolutely in the mix on this. So we need to take this very seriously. We need to get more people involved. The private sector has a lot to offer, and so do all the agencies, and they need to be put together in these plans which have been put together with experts, and we need to fund them and support them.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. One more question. How, and this is for you, Admiral, how is the space weather information collected by NOAA shared with the general public and the private sector, and how can NOAA better serve non-federal organizations that may be interested in space weather forecasting information? Admiral?
Yes. I thought that was for someone else.
Okay, I know it. You want me to repeat it?
Please, because I didn't hear the first part.
How is the space weather information collected by NOAA? And how is it shared with the general public and the private sector? And how can NOAA better serve non-federal organizations that may be interested in space weather forecasting information?
I got it.
Okay.
And why I checked out was you said NOAA. I was last ahead of NOAA in 2008. So I thought that would go to Bill, but anyway, that's okay. Because he's,
Boy, if whichever, I'm out of time, so whoever wants to answer that can.
yeah, Bill, do you want to try it? Because you're here, I am not current on exactly what NOAA is doing in all of the things. I can tell you what I'd like to have them do and sort of, but I'm not current on that. Bill may be more current than I am right now.
I'm out of time, so just very rapidly, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, we have a policy in order to make sure this data is made publicly freely available to all. So we have different systems to bring ground-based systems to bring down the space weather information, and we redistribute it, we process it and redistribute it and make it available. Pretty much everything we do to everybody out there.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I yield back.